Well, Dr. Kiesha, thank you so much for joining me today. So excited to chat through T-Mobile and broadband.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited as well.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we can just jump right in because I know we have quite a bit to discuss. So, I think as part of this whole effort to sort of dissect some of the topics around digital inclusion and the digital divide, something that I really wanted to talk about just right off the bat is T-Mobile's G network expansion, right? This is pretty impressive to me, and it's something you guys are becoming known for. Especially when it comes to small towns and rural areas, this connection is really addressing a significant gap when it comes to connectivity, right? Could you just sort of share more about this?
Thank you so much for asking. That's a really great question. One thing about T-Mobile is that we really prioritize our network in underserved areas. And when you think about 5G access, it's really about making sure that folks have the access to the tools and resources that they need in order to expand their opportunities. And that's essentially what we're hoping to do here. As T-Mobile thinks about how we show up in small towns and rural regions, a critical part of our mission is bridging the digital divide, which you'll hear about in several of our other programs. A few years ago, T-Mobile made a really big commitment to the people in rural America. And that commitment is that they would not be left behind in the 5G era. We really want small communities to be covered by 5G in a way that enhances their connectivity at home, at work, and at school. This continues to be a long-term dedication to the prosperity of rural commitments in a way that's really special. I think, as we talk about how we support families, we want it to be something that's realistic, that's something that's tangible, that impacts their everyday life. And having access to 5G technologies in rural America is something that is impacting everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably a great example of that too is it goes beyond just the individual connection to someone's home, right? We're talking about something that impacts all facets of modern living. And I think to that end, another of your programs that I'm really interested in talking about is the Connecting Heroes program, right? Which is sort of, taking the other approach, right? Which is making sure that our anchor institutions and people who are involved in first responding are connected to this game-changing technology. Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, one thing that's amazing about first responders is that they're really in every space. You think about the education world, you think about healthcare, you think about even how we work with our veteran communities. First responders are there. They're right on the front line. And a big part of how we think about first responders is around emergencies and natural disasters. They play a really huge role in making sure they're keeping our communities safe, they're communicating accurately, and generally T-Mobile sends out so many resources whenever there's a natural disaster that happens. So that's why in 2020, T-Mobile launched something we call Connecting Heroes. It's our 10-year commitment to first responders. The program provides free, unlimited service. Yes, I said free, unlimited service. Support from a dedicated emergency response team and priority access and preemption to all eligible agencies. This is like unheard of. Our wireless products and services improve the operational capacity, the productivity, the safety of public safety organizations, and last but not least, it definitely just works to address the needs of our citizens that are really seeking the support of our first responders. I think the biggest thing of all is that it's powered by our 5G network. We talked a little bit about T-Mobile's commitment to 5G in rural America. Well, this is that connection, right? If you make sure that the network works everywhere you go, we're keeping people safer, we're creating communities that are more cohesive, and we're creating a future that some folks just would never have access to. And so that's a big part of this particular initiative. In 2023, T-Mobile demonstrated this commitment during the Maui wildfires. I'm sure you're familiar with that. I mean, it's all over the
Yes.
news. We provided essential connectivity to help first responders and residents reconnect and access critical resources. That's something that only a company like T-Mobile can do. Additionally, we distributed phones, Wi-Fi hotspots. We enabled wireless priority access for all their first responders. This was over $1.7 million in in-kind products and services that were distributed to impacted communities. So along with $250,000 donated directly by T-Mobile's employees and customers. So as you can think, that's something really to be proud of as a T-Mobile employee. And it's something I think that T-Mobile has made a very deep level commitment to, not only through specifically first responders, but also the tie-in to the growing network across rural America.
Absolutely. When I hear you talk about this, I'm reminded how often when we talk about broadband, we think specifically about the home, which is incredibly important, right? But again, it goes beyond that. It's really all of these, institutional services and essential services that we use every day that need to be connected and need to be relied upon. So, of course, that this work is vitally important. And that reminds me, so another way I think that T-Mobile is sort of impacting communities is sort of through the hometown grants program, right? So this is, as I understand it, a vital part of the strategy, right? To stimulate economic vitality in some of these communities, especially those in rural areas. Could you just tell me a bit more about hometown grants?
Our hometown grant program is so exciting. It is one of those things that if you know you're a part of T-Mobile and you know that program exists, you are just extremely proud to be a part of this organization. It's one of the biggest challenges facing smaller towns and rural communities. It seeks to solve that, right? They're lacking in resources. How do we create opportunities to expand economic growth? How do we create opportunities to have access to essential services? Hometown Grants goes into these small town rural areas and seeks to solve that. Again, building off of the rural area network expansion commitment, building off of the Connecting Heroes commitment, and then saying, hey, small town directly, we want to give you an opportunity to win a grant to build a playground or, to do whatever it is you want to do that's going to, increase economic mobility and opportunities for the community. And that's something that's so exciting. You think about these areas that we're solving for and working alongside. And through the Hometown Grants program, we aim to positively impact and strengthen the communities with a 5-year, $25 million commitment to fund community development projects in small towns and rural markets across the United States. How exciting is that? So in 2023, we just hit a significant milestone, contributing $11.3 million to support 250 communities across 43 states. Think about the impact that makes. That is so exciting.
Incredibly. I think that, so much of this work is really in the margins, right? With these people that have been long overlooked in some of these communities. I think that the work of closing the digital divide now is plugging these last remaining holes, which certainly are larger than we'd like, right? And I think that programs like that are an excellent resource to do so in rural America.
I agree.
But before I let you go, I understand there's a program that means particularly a lot to you, and I would love to talk to you just a little bit about it and get your thoughts. Project 10 Million, this is something that I've personally heard a lot about and read a lot about. It's a $10 billion initiative, right, aimed at closing the digital divide, and you're doing that by providing 10 million student families with free hotspots, data plans, access to low-cost devices. I mean, this is really an extremely comprehensive plan. Would you just kind of share a little bit about it and sort of, how it came about and what you're doing?
Absolutely. Project 10 Million is something that it's never been done. It's never been done to the scale and magnitude that T-Mobile has committed to doing it. It's a $10.7 billion commitment to bridge a digital divide across K-12 student families and households. What it means is that any eligible student household can come in and actually, if they qualify for National School Lunch Program or any program that's equivalent to that, and we have that listed out on the website, they can have a free hotspot. It's a no-cost hotspot that we're paying for them with 5 years of 100 gigs and now increased to 200 gigs of internet access per year for the family. Isn't that amazing? That's something that a child can say, you know what, I Googled a random thought and I'm smarter as a result of it. Right? I wanted to fix my bike and I could just do it. I can get on YouTube and I can do that. A lot of schools that we talk to say, you know what, our kids, they might have a phone, right? They may have, something that can give them some element of access, but to really have the access they need to get online and do their homework, to interact with their peers, to, academically achieve, and obviously to pique their curiosities and ask questions and get the answers to those. To be a part of an innovative future workforce that if they don't have connectivity, they won't be a part of. Project 10 Million seeks to do that. And so through this initiative, we've connected, through Project 10 Million and all of our education initiatives, we've connected over 6 million students. How exciting is that? I mean, and this program came about, we started planning before the pandemic. So what are the chances that when the pandemic happened, we were ready? We were ready to solve this problem for our country. And I could not be more proud as a forever educator to be able to step up for kiddos in this way, and for teachers, because teachers can't plan lessons if kids can't get online. They can't plan things that allow kids to get online outside of the traditional school day. And it's really hard for them to create robust, structures to have kids online if kids don't have access. And so the program does so much more than just this surface level, oh, here's a hotspot. It allows teachers to plan for the pedagogy and the learning experience that's really going to help students to excel and succeed. So this program is very close to my heart.
Well, I mean, for good reason. I think everything you just said there is so important. I have younger siblings who are in school. I think, when I see the way that young people interact with the web today, it's sort of like this extra limb, right? And it's something where if
Yes.
they don't have it, it really does tangibly impact the opportunities and the way that they learn and the way they connect. I think all of those things are vital to building the future workforce and the future environment of education and curiosity that we all strive for, right? So yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a fantastic program. Really, really excited to see where it goes.
Thank you. I'm so
Dr.
proud to
Kiesha,
be a part of it.
yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Really, really appreciate the opportunity to talk through the efforts T-Mobile is undertaking to close the digital divide. We're big fans, obviously, and we're happy to recognize you in this way. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Broadband Now for this prestigious recognition. It means a lot to us. We truly strive to make a difference in the world and be an element for good. And this award is a part of recognizing those efforts. So we appreciate you so much.
Of course. Well, thank you again. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.